Hi everyone, I'm Owen O'Kane and I'm an author and psychotherapist, and today I'm delighted to answer some of your questions through Ethan Asked. Now the first question was, as a psychotherapist, do you find it difficult not to bring your work home? I think it's a really good question to kick off with, and of course there are some days when work, like everyone's job, can be more difficult than others, but as a psychotherapist you have your own therapy, your own supervision, and it's easy sometimes to go along and talk to someone else about the work you're dealing with. That way you're not carrying it with you. Now of course I would be lying if I said occasionally I'll think about work when I'm at home, but I think by and large most therapists are quite skilled and quite good at putting a boundary on their work when they go home, because otherwise if we didn't then we wouldn't be able to function well. Second question is, my first book 10 to Zen was excellent at slowing people down. Thank you for whoever made that comment. Do you recommend any other books? Probably the key book I would recommend is an old classic book called A Guide to Rational Living by Albert Ellis. So yeah, in terms of recommendations of other self-help books, this is a really good book. Third question, in the process of writing the book, how did you find it? What was it like for you? Again, it's a really important question and it's a good question. So it's my second book now, and I think writing a book is an incredible process. You go through lots of different stages. Sometimes it flows really fluidly. There are other times you get stuck. And of course, when you write a self-help book, some of your own stuff comes up. So it's a fascinating experience, but liberating. And for anybody thinking of writing a book, I would say do it. It's an incredible life experience. Fourth question, now that 10 Times Happier is out, there are so many self-help books out there. What makes your book different? Big question, but I think, to be fair, when I sit down to write a book, I not only write a book as a psychotherapist, but I also write as a human being with my own story and my own experiences, because I don't think you can hide behind titles. So I suppose really what makes my book different is I have a dual psychotherapy and medical background. I talk about my own stuff very honestly and very truthfully in there, and I just try to use language and stories and examples that most people can relate to. I try to avoid flowery stuff, or I try to avoid them being very academic. So I suppose really what I try to offer is a common sense voice on good mental well-being. Finally, the pandemic has been difficult for most people. Do you think there are any quick fixes for people? I mean, of course, I don't think there are any quick fixes for people, but I do think there are a lot of techniques around anxiety management, mindfulness, use of breath work, exercise and good food. These things all help people manage and cope better. So I think all of these things are really important. However, I don't think there's a quick fix. Like most difficult events in life, people are going to need a bit of time to process, to make sense of what's happened, and to move forward again and rebuild. And that sometimes can take a bit of time, but it is possible. So there you go, there are my questions for Ethan Asked. I hope I've answered your questions, and my new book 10 Times Happier is out now. It's available on easons.com, so I hope you order the book, and more importantly, I hope you enjoy it, and even more importantly, I hope it enriches your life. Have a great day, and thank you so much for having me here.